July 1st. Let's go. Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Valentine, would you lead us?
I'm happy to. And if you'll follow me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Director Krokel.
Present.
Director Hanson.
Here.
Director Ballantyne.
Here.
Director Parker.
Here.
Director Allred. Here. All here.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Any public comment, or we don't have to have any at this point? So opinion.
Public comment, Mike.
No public comment necessary.
No.
All right. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those that disapprove? Vote carries unanimously. All right, community comments, announcements, public comments,
Not on the agenda.
not on the agenda.
Good afternoon. Okay, I just want to make a quick announcement. The task event is going to be on Thursday. It's open to the public. The Adult Skills Center are going to have live entertainment, some food, games, prizes, and they would like everybody in the community to come. I know that they've been out handing out flyers and trying to get the public to come. So anybody that's listening or would like to attend, it's from 10 to 2 on Thursday. Next up is the East Kern Community Backpack Drive. Still accepting donations of backpacks filled with school supplies. And we are one of the drop-offs, and so is Cap K. We are also still running our fundraiser for the Chips for Kids Christmas tree event. And so we are having fun with that. And most recent update is we have a food truck that is licensed and approved for Kern County. And it is the Corner Spot 369. They've been here at Building 58 for a couple of days now. They'll be here tomorrow, and then we'll potentially put them in another location, probably by Building 1 in a couple of weeks. But feedback from the people that have had them so far are really good.
Food they serve.
I'm sorry, what?
What kind of food do they serve?
They do loaded fries, vegetarian wraps, funnel cake, ice cream, kind of like a combination of a Louisiana Southern food. They've got
Frog legs?
no, nothing like that.
Mexican food, Asian food.
No, but they do. He does do some stir fries as well as like pastrami sandwiches and pulled pork, a little bit of everything. And like I said, he's got the funnel cake and ice cream and cheesecake. So he's kind of well rounded. Yeah, staff has been able to sample several of the items that he has, and so far we don't have any complaints on anything.
Where are they located?
Right now we have him in the parking lot.
Right up here.
Yep,
Yeah.
right here. He's here between 11 and 1 generally, unless he has a lot of orders at the end, and then he'll stay a little bit longer. He does do catering as well. So we're hoping that he will be able to stick around for quite some time. He's actually licensed in 4 counties. So
I wish him success. You know, it's nice to have a variety out here. And
sure.
I think if he gets on a schedule to where the tenants and us here, they know he's going to be there, you can kind of plan on it. Otherwise,
Yes.
You know, it's hit and miss. And
Yes, so we do have him on a schedule, and we do notify the tenants of when he'll be here and when and where he'll be at on the airport. And that's it.
Thanks, Lynn.
You bet.
What happened to the days when they just drove up and honked their horn? Consent agenda. All items need to be approved on a
Motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items A, B, C, and D.
Second.
Or was that you, Kathy, that made the motion? You were moving lips and I kind of cut you off. I do that tendency.
all those in, let's wait. We have a motion and a second?
Yeah, I make a motion.
Just ask if anyone wants anything removed from the agenda, and if not, then vote on.
Anybody want anything removed?
Hmm?
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Vote carries unanimously. Action items. A, 25-26 budget approval.
Good afternoon. We had the budget workshop a couple weeks ago. Nothing was changed from our budget workshop to what is presented here in the staff memo and in the budget. We didn't have anything that came up between the meeting. So I don't know if you had any additional questions. So just I'll kind of do like a brief overview just for the public that was not in the workshop. We are anticipating still the approval for the FAA project for Taxiway A Alpha. Our operating and our normal operating revenue and operating expenses, we don't foresee any large increases or decreases in either one of them. For infrastructure projects for this upcoming year, we see us doing, and again, we talked about us getting some of the grants. We haven't seen any forward movement on them, so we've kept them inside of our budget for this year. If we do get the grants approval, then we'll come back and reallocate some of those funds. We are moving forward with the master plan, asphalt improvement, the tower generator that's already underway, the Gate A60 relocation, and the airplane displays. The property investments, as we spoke about, and those are just hangar acquisitions, land, the building improvements, and those are just the replacement of the roofs, the ARF trailer, hangar door, and electrical upgrades. Purchasing some equipment, the AWAS, the radar replacement, servers, a vehicle, the employee benefits, that was contributing the $250,000 to the OPEB. One thing that I did not list on the staff memo that just wanted to call out on the operating expenses was the new positions that we're adding. I just realized when I was kind of going over it that I didn't, but that was discussed in the workshop, and that was the one IT position and the 2 maintenance. And then the cost of living increase, the 3.5% for all employees employed longer than 60 days, and then moving forward with the retirement incentive. So we're just asking for the board to approve the resolution to move forward with this budget as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Do you have any, anybody have any comments?
No, I don't. I'll second.
Okay. We have a motion to approve and a motion for a
Any
second.
public comment or,
Are there any public comments?
Any public comments?
sorry, I took your line from you, Terry.
That's all right. I need all the help I can get. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Resolution to amend board policy 300 as it relates to the authorized position. Was that included?
This is an addition, a separate action item. We typically do this annually as well. We have to do this one because of the adding the systems administrator position. So we have to add this position to the policy 300. So a couple just changes that I'm making or I'm asking to make at this time is just increasing all the positions 5%. This doesn't increase anybody's salary to 5%. This is just broadening the salary ranges on all of the positions. The only position that went above and beyond the 5% is the air traffic controller. And that was just kind of an oversight. In the previous years, the part-time position was higher than the full-time position. So I was just bringing the full-time position up to where the part-time position salary cap would. big changes to be made to the policy 300. If staff could make the changes to policy 300, if the minimums aren't within the law. So for instance, if minimum wage got adjusted just to make the change, and then to increase the maximums by the COLA. So if the board approved a 3.5% COLA, that we could increase the maximums on the range by that 3.5%. Obviously this year there would be no change because you guys are making this change. But for the future, just so that way each year we don't have to make a resolution to make that change.
What if the COLA goes down?
Well, then there will be no change.
Yeah, you're referring to the budget, correct? If they approve the COLAs in the budget,
Yeah.
then we would automatically change the salary schedule.
Yeah. But if there's no, if say for instance, if there's a year that there's no COLA approved, then the maximums will
I
not
don't
have.
like that.
Okay. I mean, that's up for discussion.
Well, there has been over the years, a year where, yeah, but I'd rather the board say, we want to kind of watch it this year and see. I'm gonna say no.
And this isn't, and this just makes it to whereas if,
You don't have to come to the board.
no,
If it's within,
well, you guys would approve the COLA. Like, we're not making it to where we approve the COLA. We would come to you as the budget. And if you guys approve whatever the COLA would be, it makes it policy 300. So if an employee was maxed out on policy 300, if that particular salary range they were at the max, that they would get their COLA. It doesn't make it to where we don't have to come to the board to update policy 300 just so that employee gets their COLA. Because we've had years in the past where employees didn't get their COLA because they were at the max.
So this, to clarify, if I may, the board would still be the approval authority for the COLA. This is not a change in pay. This is simply an administrative change in what the pay band is for that position.
no, I
So
get that.
Okay.
Well,
So this way, the board would approve, say, a COLA of X, rather than the board then approving, hey, in the event
so it still comes to the board.
The COLA, yes.
Okay, I misunderstood because I thought if the COLA was, let's say, 3.5%, it just became automatic and staff could within.
Oh, no.
No, no,
The
no.
board has to approve the COLA.
No.
I think what they're getting at is if a salary is capped at say 140,000 and the employee's worked here for 40 years and he's at 140,000 and we give a 3% COLA, he would not get it.
Right.
That's correct.
Okay,
And we've
This way he would automatically get it.
okay.
and we've had employees that has happened to.
I would like to be obviously if we're there, because maybe we need to adjust that employee's pay too.
So this is adjusting the pay range.
Right.
So
That,
instead of 140,000,
Is
the pay range is now 144,000.
Okay,
So all Carrie is asking is that if you approve the COLA in the budget, that it automatically adjusts the pay range in the admin code by that same amount. It doesn't guarantee they're going to get it. It just means that the salary schedule is adjusted by what the board has
okay,
approved.
I misunderstand. It's the
Yeah.
schedule we're at.
it's the schedule.
It's the
They
schedule.
Not
would
the,
automatically get it if they were at the top of their salary schedule.
Only if the
If we
COLA
approve the
is
COLA.
approved.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. If
that
you approve
clarifies it.
the COLA, yeah.
Okay.
Because in the past, we've had employees that have been just maxed out and they didn't get their COLA.
Yeah, it just
So
sounded a
it's,
little more automatic
yeah, no,
the way
yeah,
I was
yeah.
doing it, so.
Yep, sorry if I misspoke on that.
Oh,
The only thing that's automatic is adjusting the pay range,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
not giving the increase.
Any other questions?
So how often do we adjust these maximums then?
It would only be at the time of the budget.
We do our
Okay.
budget.
Like, so at the time that we do the budget, I mean, and really, if we have any added positions, that's when it would come to the board. I mean, it would only be as if it was minimum wage that we would adjust it or based on COLAs. If it was anything outside of that, it would come to the board. It's just to make it to where if employees are at the cap of their range and if you guys authorize a COLA, that they would get their COLA, that they don't get capped out because we're not making a change. Because we've had employees that's happened to.
Would that still be just noted to the board, hey, ex-employee is capped out because of this policy change, they will be getting this, just
Yeah.
so we know, because, you know, if somebody's capped out, to me, I think, well, we need to take another look at that, and maybe we do it somewhere else, so maybe it's.
Yeah.
And
And that's something I can make a note of too in like our budget workshop to kind of go over and kind of highlight those employees.
So why don't the COLAs percentage-wise agree with the 5% maximums we're looking
Just because it's been a while since we've kind of made those changes, so I was just kind of doing that for right now. And then, like I said, no change will happen now. This will be for next year. So, and then I'll kind of do that now, then going forward.
this is next year.
So, yeah. But this will be like putting us forward. And not to say that if we went to make any more, because policy 300 at any time could be revised. So if we were ever to do a salary comp, the maximums might get adjusted based on a salary comp or anything like that. But this is, so that way it doesn't, we don't have to do a revision every time if it was just to adjust for minimum wage,
Right.
especially. Because sometimes we have to bring in, it's a resolution, it's an action item just to adjust a minimum or just to adjust for COLA. And just to make sure too, the long-term employees are getting at least their COLA each year.
Sure.
Any public comment? All right, we have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve resolution amendment to board policy 300.
Second.
Second. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Vote carries unanimously.
Those and I.
Reports. Director of Administration.
This is my open session's my meeting. This is the financials for May 31st. Bank balance increased 15,000. Operating revenue were at 94%. Operating expenses were at 84%. Fuel sales were at 79,000 gallons. AR, everybody is paid up. High Desert's 100% paid, so there's nobody over 90 days. Fitness center, we're at 782 members.
Goodness me.
I know.
Yeah.
That thing's
Yeah, they went up.
cooking.
Is that a break even?
Oh yeah, no. They're actually looking at purchasing new treadmills, so
Tell them good job.
yes,
And they-
no, yeah.
You know, we dealt with that for years and it was questionable, but we wanted it.
Yep. Yeah,
Good job.
so now they're putting back
Their
in,
net $12,000. I mean, I remember when we put that much into it.
yeah. It was $10,000 a month, just about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Good job. Tell them good job.
All
And
right.
I'll comp you good job on the budget.
So-
You know, those numbers are nice when we review them and they're taking a little bit more than we spend it.
We're getting so
Yeah,
close.
that's,
Director of Facilities.
Good afternoon, directors. Some updates on items we've been working around the facility. This is not new information, but I wanted to include an update and some information about the aircraft I was referencing. But the Model 400 Swift that Scaled Composites gifted to the airport last year. We finally finished up all of our design and engineering on that, and it is officially in for permitting. So once we get permits to construct our foundations, it will be installed on the south end of Airport Boulevard in the static display, northeast of the 990. So that's moving forward. Similarly with the air traffic control tower generator, permits are in. The generator is under construction and is expected to ship to us the second week of September. Pending permits, then that will go in upon its arrival. Something that I am very pleased with, excited about, proud of. Last year, our AIP project was an improvement of the Alpha Bravo lighting circuits. Prior to last year, Alpha Bravo South was one circuit, Alpha Charlie Echo. So we had 3 taxiways on one circuit. North of Charlie. That Alpha project eliminated Alpha from that circuit, but it was still taxiways Charlie and Echo. several years ago when we improved Taxiway Charlie with the pavement and lighting, we rewired that entire taxiway and new lighting, new fixtures, but Echo was still, when we began working on it last week, the wiring was from 1994. There was dates written on the wiring, 1994. We had been experiencing some issues with Echo and with the Charlie Echo circuit. What I'm very pleased about is on their own ambition, Logan and Elijah, with the help of Raul and Ricky, last 2 weeks, rewired that entire Echo circuit with a total of 4,500 feet of wire, rewired 24 lights, 24 fixtures, or 24 transformers, 3 marker signs, and installed an additional 14 LEDs that we had in stock. The issue that we had encountered prior to that has gone away. So they were able to fix the dim lights on Echo, and the Echo lights would not change in intensity. And that issue has been resolved. They did that completely in-house with almost no direction from me, other than, can you get me some parts?
Yeah.
So,
How much do you think we save in electricity and maybe in lamps going to LED? 25%?
I don't, purely my opinion, I don't think we save much.
Okay, I mean,
I think it's negligible.
bulb has a wattage, the LED has a wattage.
Yeah, the transformers are, it's a 1-to-1 transformer, so we're using the same energy that we were using before. What we're gaining is longevity. It's bulb lamp replacements.
Okay, I mean, I think it's a good thing.
We maybe change less than, I would say, less than a dozen LED lamps throughout the year, or LED fixtures. Lamps is incorrect. Whereas we are changing incandescent lamps weekly. So that's the benefit. So I'm very proud of them for getting that done, and it's a much needed improvement. Additionally to airfield lighting, we did, as an update, we did receive our reels that we ordered for runway 12. As soon as we have a break in the schedule, those will go in as well. And those are also LED. And then finally, building 171, which has been that's the building that Fastenal occupied on Sabovich. That's been vacant for a little bit of time. We did a service upgrade. We removed a very outdated 100 amp Zensko panel that was in there with a new 200 amp combination panel board. That work was finished today, and the tenant arrives tomorrow that Lynn has rented that building to pick up the keys. So it'll be out of our inventory. And the subject to your questions, that's all I have for this month. Questions?
Thanks, Floyd.
Thank you.
Is this a new employee, or? Oh, you're from the paper?
No, it's good.
Oh, Scale, okay, sorry, I apologize. What's your name? Julie, okay. Well, thank you for coming, Julie.
Dr. Smith.
Over at Scale, because she tells me when they're operating. It makes my life
Good, and I apologize, I thought maybe this was one of Floyd's employees, and
IT's went through all of his employees. He's been looking at production until
Dr. Smith.
Okay, I've got 3 items here to brief the board on, and then 2 quick walk-ons, just for the board's awareness. So the Spaceport's professional development, I'm in particular excited about that. So I met with what they call the Delta Commander, what we used to call in the Air Force a Wing Commander, out at LA Air Force Base, and invited their Junior Officers Council to come on up to Mojave and take a look as an officer's professional development at what we do here. There's a not so hidden agenda associated with that. One is I love the concept of growing our Guardians, our newest branch of the military. But 2, these people are closely connected with the space industry.
That's right.
And the opportunity to expose us early ensures our long-term sustainability by planting those seeds early in these young blossoming company grade officers. So I'm very excited to bring them on out here for that opportunity. Secondly, A call happened this morning. Chris took the call just briefly for scheduling with the FAA to bring their security team back out to Mojave to look at things with an eye on, okay, how can we further integrate a secure environment for the companies that require that secure environment while absolutely ensuring general aviation open access as a public use airport. Right. So, additionally, one of the things we have talked about is some security options for the fuel farm.
Yeah.
And there is a chance. Now, I know the long-term goal is to move the fuel farm inside the fence line. And if and when we can do that, great. What I'm uncomfortable about is the risk we absorb while it sits outside waiting for funding. So looking at getting upgraded fencing for that and looking at possibly getting the FAA to write that check through their security side. So they're going to take a look at that. They'll be out here in October. The big focus on their visit, cyber vulnerabilities. So it's a wonderful ad for us to get a free look at where we are in cyber and good ideas from the FAA. By the way, the FAA brings out a team of FAA federal agents that are equivalent to what we call OSI or NCIS, but they work directly for the FAA versus an active military branch, and an FAA team, or excuse me, an FBI team will be out with them. So they'll look at our cyber vulnerabilities, they'll look at overall security, they're gonna look at the fuel farm and see if they could approve. And I'm not focused on what kind of fencing specifically, but something upgraded. And one of the proposals we received was a proposal from the same company that fenced Reagan International Airport. So if you look at this, it is not chain link. It's basically wrought iron, extremely small digits. It's got an anti-climb capability. It's 8 feet tall. It's vehicle anti-intrusion, pretty solid stuff. It's about 50% over the cost of chain link. But if the FAA agrees with the proposal, it'll be zero cost to the airport and provide us.
Is your thinking in addition to what we already have there, so basically it would just be an outer? Or?
It would replace that, but
Okay.
we'd probably move that perimeter out some
Okay.
to allow
me, I
for
think that's
expansion and any kind of necessary growth. Things like maybe I want to park a fuel truck inside the fence line.
Yeah.
So we want to have that capability there.
Yeah.
So these are 3 things that I think are very additive to where we're going right now. A couple quick walk-ons. I know we took hangar update off the list, but now we have a hangar update. So this morning, telecon with potential investors looking at the Bravo area and looking at these are not general aviation hangars. What these people are interested in doing is providing additional flight line lease capability, understanding that the flight line side of the hangar world is simply out of Schlitz today. We're full. So this is a capability for more business growth and development.
We've always been full.
Right, yes. So exciting opportunity. If that were to come to fruition, that's great. At the same time, a good update on the grants that we deferred. We will find out in August who were the recipients of the first series of grants and what their packages look like so that we can cater our packages to what the California Jobs First program, who were the grantors, approved. So we want to not reinvent the wheel as we go through the actual hard submission process. And we're doing that hand in glove with Griffiths Institute, who is kind of our shepherd on this journey. So, and that wraps up what I have for the board today. So subject to your questions.
I have one for Floyd. Just with the way our display aircrafts are at the entrance down there, do we experience much vandalism?
Honestly, no.
Okay, I just look at that and I'm thinking of smaller aircraft and stuff, maybe if it needs to be.
Other than the birds.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, birds only.
I think you got that mitigated pretty.
Do not recall that we've ever had any graffiti or anything of that nature down there. Normally the vandalism occurs in the unlit corners of the airport.
Okay, I just see people get out and walk. It's unusual. I think people get that close.
They are very close. They're hands-on, but we don't see any damage.
I mean, that's nice to be able to provide that.
Nothing of any significance.
I think the proximity to the sheriff and the highway patrol is not insignificant there. So,
Okay, I've always wondered that.
I like the fact that that area is very used.
mhm.
Every time I drive by, somebody's out there with a kid
Yeah.
gawking at those airplanes, which is what we want.
Sure, because I've been down by airports and it's a fence within a fence and you really can't,
They can touch it.
yeah.
Any information or updates on Jet Zero?
Nothing concrete yet. Jet Zero has allowed their option to expire. They are not walking away from Mojave. They are walking away from that option to lease. They are, I'm going to be a little bit vague here because I don't want to get into proprietary information. They're looking at subletting from a current operation here that will maintain the viability of that particular lease over time. And as a backup to that, if that does not come to fruition, reinitiating the process with a new lease on the same parcel they originally looked at.
Good. All right, board committees. We have none.
I have a comment.
Director comments. Any director?
Yeah.
There you go, ma'am.
Oh, thank you. I just wanted to let everyone know that on the 19th of this month, third Saturday, Plain Crazy Saturday, we'll have Armando Soles. He is a historian and author, but he is also a volunteer with Honor Flight Kern County. And he's going to come and share with us some of the stories of taking veterans back to Washington, D.C. to all the magnificent memorials back there. I don't know if you all have been, I'm sure you have, but they are just, leaves you speechless. I love the Korean War memorial. Of course, the Vietnam Wall is amazing. But the newest one with the World War II memorial is really breathtaking. And he's been doing this a while. And I just realized that 10 years ago, almost to the day, it was July 18th, 2015, I had Lori Crown speak on Honor Flight. So they've been doing it a while. So they've taken many, many veterans from Kern County back to Washington, D.C. And they even take Cold War veterans because it's free to the veteran. If you are going along to help, then you pay your way. But of course, they always look for donations and sponsors. But it's a wonderful program. It really is, and I'm delighted. They fly out of Bakersfield, and I've been there at some of the flights that have come home, and it's really brings a tear to your eye. So I hope you can come. Thank you.
If I may
Yes.
add to that, this was 3 or 4 years ago, and it was an LAX return for Honor Flight. I was on drill that weekend, got a call from the Adjutant General staff saying the Adjutant General can't make this return, wanted to be there. Can you represent?
Oh.
So absolutely went down there. Was wonderful. Cheerleaders from local high schools, a band, and this happened to be a World War II Honor Flight.
Wow.
So a gentleman, still chokes me up to this day, is being brought off the aircraft with his handlers in a wheelchair. And she makes the handler stop next to me, and he struggles to his feet. And I said, "Sir, please sit." He says, "I have never in my life passed a general officer without saluting. I'm not going to start now."
Oh
And
my
he forced
goodness.
himself to his feet. He struggled to salute to me and left me in absolute tears.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, I love our veterans.
Okay, move on. Director comments on items not on the agenda.
Okay.
Closed session, we now move to closed session. You may all return after reopen.
This style. Just
Would the
that?
board like me to remain?
You'll love it.
Yes, absolutely.
Please.
I like that hat.
I'm trying to take it. No, they wash well. I would say 3 or 4 to 1 over the other ones wearing now. They don't